Welcome back to the Open Wheel Offline League Season 5, round number 13 here at New Hampshire. First time we've ever been to New Hampshire, as we are finally back into the States and on an oval for the first time since Indy. Got a lot of ovals to wrap up the season, but this is the first of the true short ovals. So let's go through your starting grid for today's race. We are down to just 27 cars for this event as Barbershop Haircut Racing unfortunately had to shut down, had a lot of financial issues, so we're down to 27 cars. And starting back in 27th is Miles Rowe in a new paint, but no newfound speed, just hanging on to the last spot in the leader circle. Up to row 13 on the outside is his teammate Tinkle McStinkle, and then to his inside is the 77 of Stingray Rob. Up to row 12 is Rob's teammate Glover Lore, who he's tied with in points. And then to his inside is Dawa Tenzin on what's basically his first true short oval, 1 mile or less. Row 11 on the outside is the 92 of Lawless Allen. And then on his inside is the 54 of Mahavir Raghunathan. Been on a good streak of results lately. Let's see if that can continue today, but he starts back in 21st. Row 10 on the outside, one of your leader circle bubble drivers is the 75 of Devlin DiFrancesco, and to his inside is the 76 of Ethan Martz, who just got his best result of the season of a 4th place finish at Monza last week. Up to row 9 on the outside is the 18 of Robbie Lore, and then to his inside the current rookie of the season standings leader, Francesco Draconi, but he's going to be starting deep in the field in 17th. Up to row 8, it's an all Banshees of Little Miami row with Lindsey Brewer on the outside in the 47. Then to the inside is the 29 of Benjamin Peterson. Up to row 7 on the outside is David Malukas, just one spot shy of the leader circle. Then to his inside is Carlos Huertas in his second ever oval start. His only oval start was at Indy, and unfortunately it was a DNF pretty early on. Trying to correct that today. Row 6 on the outside is the 87 of Alessio Deletta. And then to his inside is the 99 of Brendan Hubbard. Both of these drivers pretty good at oval racing. Gonna see if they have that skill today. Row 5 on the outside is the 43 of Dorian Pin. Just trying to get some good results in after a bad streak of races. Then to her inside is the number 90 of Guy Gagne. Up to row 4, the usual row 4, it's Ryan Preece on the outside and Louis Foster on the inside. These guys finished first and second at Monza. Louis Foster got a second win of the season, boosting him to second in points. And then Ryan Preece got a second podium of the season, finishing in second, his best of the season. Row 3 is all Viking Racing. On the outside is the 19 of Nolan Siegel. And then to the inside is the number 9 of Connor Zilich. And then up to row 2 is Silly Men Racing row with Chet Jordan on the outside and Marcus Armstrong on the inside, who won at Motegi, which is the closest to what we are going to be racing on today. So look for that 33 to try to make his way to the front. Going to be starting from third today. And then in row 1, Shane Van Gisbergen, your points leader, is going to be starting on the outside of row 1. Lost his points lead a little bit at Monza with a poor result, but luckily he does have a pretty big points lead. Then to his inside is the 14 of Justin Allgaier on his first ever pole position. He's fighting for Rookie of the Season standings, but he did get his first ever pole. If you look at the driver's standings, Van Gisbergen's up by 92 points, which is almost 2 full races. So it's going to be pretty tough for them to close back in, but not impossible. His teammate Louis Foster jumped up to second with a win. Armstrong and Siegel are tied in points, but Armstrong gets the tiebreaker in third, Siegel in fourth, then Zilich a long way back in fifth. Team standings, Swindlers still look dominant, having won, I believe, 9 out of 12 races this season. And we are at Loudon, New Hampshire for the first time, a track just a little over 1 mile. So for 100 laps, about 100 miles. And the sim time is July 26th at 2 p.m. It is a very flat 1 mile circuit. Tire wear going to be a big issue for the drivers today. Starting grid scrolling across the top of your screen. Let's take a quick look at your weather. 77 degrees, 2 mile per hour wind speed, cloudy with a humidity of 67%, so fairly nice day for racing, just a little cloudy, but not overcast. So we've never raced here before. We have raced at Milwaukee twice, and Shane Van Gisbergen won both of them from the front row. So can Allgaier hold off his teammate, or will Van Gisbergen be too powerful, get a 6th win on the season today? As we come off turn 4, green flag is out here at New Hampshire. Allgaier gets the jump into turn 1, and Armstrong going to try and come through. He's going to go up the inside, and he's going to take second. So off the turn, Van Gisbergen now under threat from Chet Jordan, but he's going to have to run in the turn. But Armstrong now sits in second. Back here, you see Nolan Siegel on the outside of his teammate. He's trying to cut forward. Van Gisbergen right behind Armstrong. He can't let Armstrong get too far ahead. Still fighting for this championship. So Allgaier has not been able to quite get away. As back here, a little bit of shuffling going around Pin and Priest side by side in the turn. Single file up through the first few places. This is for 8th, and Pin is going to be clear. As Ryan Priest now drops down to 10th as Alessio Deletta tries to cut forward. Armstrong about half a second behind Allgaier as Chet Jordan all over the back of Shane Van Gisbergen trying to close in. Listen to how much he has to get out of the throttle. Tire saving also going to be critical today. But Allgaier still hangs on strong. Armstrong half a second behind. Van Gisbergen just a little bit ahead of Chet Jordan. You can see Van Gisbergen's going a little bit lower in the turn than some of these other guys. Yeah, he's going about half a lane lower than Chet Jordan. Now, I don't know if it's working to his benefit, considering that he is kind of losing some time here. Armstrong really needs Chet Jordan to get by, as Jordan's going to go to the inside into turn 3. Not going to be able to make the move there. Zilich has closed in just a little bit. And also just on his own, Chet Jordan will want to get a good result here, as he's going to go to the inside, and Van Gisbergen's going to lose it. And he's going to slide up the track. That is huge implication for the leader. He does get away, but he definitely hurt the car. Chet Jordan with a bold move to the inside. And Van Gisbergen just loses it on the high side of the track, in the marbles, in the dark gray. Yeah, we haven't seen the cars up there much. And it just goes around on him. Not a major impact, but that's definitely gonna damage the car there. The championship implications come into play here at New Hampshire. Man, yeah, just gets all crossed up. He didn't come into the pits, but I think this may be the time when you would. So Van Gisbergen will come in. We're going to have to see how much damage there is. A lot of guys at the back are going to come in. which I'd say is the smart thing because might as well try to cut your way forward. Martz and DeFrancesco are the only ones that are a little bit further back that came in. But this is some problems. Trying to see if anything looks specifically bent. I can't quite find something on its own, but he is going to go to the back of the field because he is still getting repair work done, and he might go a lap down here. You can see his dot in pit lane. He is going to exit the pits. 33-second pit stop, but he will be down in 27th. So this now is a good opportunity for your leaders and guys a little bit further down in the championship to try to make up some points. Door's been flung open. Armstrong came in about 98 points back. With this would put him about 63 points back, which is a lot more manageable. Shane Van Gisbergen had a lot of trouble on the ovals last season, and up to this point in the season, it's mostly been road courses. However, the ovals haven't gone too bad for him, except for Motegi, which was a bit more technical than Indy and Michigan. Indy being a 5th, and then Michigan being, I believe, a 9th. As we're going to get back going here, Justin Allgaier, still your race leader. It's going to bring us back to green. Good jump over Armstrong. Chet Jordan now in the podium place of 3rd as he made a big move to the inside of Van Gisbergen. Van Gisbergen couldn't hold on. Foster a little bit under attack from Pidd, but didn't get as good of a run out of the turn. Van Gisbergen now back here. There's battling in the middle of the field up at the front as Lindsey Brewer is back into the pits. So something has gone wrong on that 47 car. Gonna have to see what that's about. Back here, Ryan Preece still under attack, this time from Guy Gagné. But number 90 gonna go to the inside and get the position there. Gagné now up to 9th, which is where he started, lost a few spots at the start. So Brewer just has a normal pit stop, 6.8 second stop. I don't know if that's going to be able to get to the end, but at the end of the race, she's going to be struggling pretty bad on the tires. As there she is. I think she will be 2 laps down. Yes, she is 2 laps down. But already providing some lap traffic for the guys back here to battle with. "27 cars, the most on a true short oval that we've ever had. Allgaier's already going to be about half a lap back from the leaders. Shane Van Gisbergen not making up ground. He is falling back, and I wonder if there's more damage on that car. And they just sent it back to not lose a lap. Gonna have to see, but Preece is working to move forward. He got by Guy Gagné into 9th. And now, not quite clear as Dorian Pinn making a move on her teammate as Van Gisbergen has crashed again. And that is a yellow flag once again, a second one for Van Gisbergen. And this already looks like a disaster. Oh, and this one has contact with the wall, so he's trying to pass Stingray Rob here. What even happened there? But this time a wheel's come off, so we know that that's going to be the end of his race. But a second yellow for the same guy. What even happened? Did he make contact? I genuinely don't know. He may have just sent it too deep, crossed up, and around it went. See from here what we can see. Yep, there was some contact. I think just sent it a little too deep into the turn. Let's go back just a little bit. So we're gonna watch Van Gisbergen. Stingray Rob slows up a little bit early into the turn, but when you're the car behind, you kind of have to abide by his rules. And then he's holding his line. Van Gisbergen, he's gonna slide before he even makes contact, and then he's gonna snap around into the wall. As right now we have live pit stops. Armstrong gonna be the only car to stay out as Allgaier comes in. Why is the 33 staying out? So we're gonna have to see who can leave pit lane first. Allgaier gonna get out ahead. Siegel gonna come out in second, so he's gonna jump Chet Jordan and his teammate Connor Zilic, who lost a little bit more ground as Pin and Foster both got by him. But the 33 of Marcus Armstrong decides to stay out. And this may be a bad call. I don't quite know why he would stay out. Lindsey Brewer gonna get the lucky dog, get one lap back. But we know Van Gisbergen is out of the race officially and will finish in 27th. Armstrong will get some points for leading a lap here. But lap 21 of 100. Armstrong, your leader, 2 cautions in the race. But he will surely have slower pace than the 14 behind him. So I don't really... Maybe he thinks that they pitted too early and won't make it to the end, which is possible. They did pit pretty early into the race, about 1/5 of the way in. Think back to Milwaukee last year, I think they made it to about lap 60 or so, lap 60, 70, before they had to come in. But the field has been shaken up just a little bit, and Armstrong going to lead us back to green. Going to get pretty far ahead of Allgaier. One guy that benefited a lot from the pit stops is McStinkle. He's up to 12th, so he's in a good position. However, that's going to shake up the guys back here. Ryan Priest still trying to cut forward. He lost a couple spots, and he's going to get by Miles Rowe, who he benefited even more. Up here, Zilic trying to attack Dorian Pin. As Robbie Lord going to pit again for whatever reason. Don't know what gone wrong there. But the 14 of Justin Allgaier staying with Marcus Armstrong. Chet Jordan lost the spot to Nolan Siegel. As these guys are side by side back here. Malukas and Peterson wheel to wheel. Robbie gonna come out 2 laps down. But Armstrong out ahead. Gonna see if Chet Jordan can get by Robbie Lord. Yes, he can. Without too much difficulty. There's another car that's gone a lap down. So he may have thought that he wasn't going to be able to make it to the end and just pit again for safety purposes, but I don't know, that's 2 laps lost there. McStinkle under threat from Francesco Draconi going around the outside, looking for 12th. A lot of side-by-side racing back here. as Brendan Hubbard going to go to the inside of Malukas and looking to the inside of McStinkle, but McStinkle being very defensive on where he's putting his car. Go on board with Malukas here. Is actually no, he's getting by, so let's go on board with Hubbard. Now on board with Raghunathan. He's going to have to run off the turn, try to get around Hubbard. Hubbard, big slide on the inside. Armstrong still hanging on up here, despite the older tires. Chet Jordan under threat from Louis Foster. Alessio Deletta still working his way forward. Gotten by, or trying to get by Gagne. He lost a couple spots under the yellow flag pit stops. Still side by side, as you can see, they're not going above that dark gray, which is where Van Gisbergen went earlier. So there's a pretty big gap between these guys. As Ryan Priest gonna follow Deletta around the outside, and that may be enough to get around Gagne here. As, yes, it will, as Jordan and Foster battle. Both these guys top 10 in points. Jordan's got to try to help Armstrong here by not letting Foster get by, but unfortunately Foster has gotten ahead. He's up into fourth. That's another slide from Chet Jordan. We saw him, he's been notoriously bad at struggling on saving tires. Struggled at Motegi, struggled at Zandvoort, Nürburgring, just all of them. As Jordan now could be under threat from Dorian Pin here. Tried making a move, but couldn't quite get there. Now trying to go around the outside. Way high up the track in the dark gray. But she's going to have to run around the turn. And Dorian Pin's going to get through. Zilich's going to try and come with. Oh, pretty high in the turn. Big slide. But he's going to be able to get out ahead. So Chet Jordan drops from 4th down to 7th. As he is really struggling on these tires pretty early on in the stint. You see his lap in the leader's last lap. And it is a little bit better because Armstrong is really struggling now. He's been out here for 35-ish laps. He's going to be coming up on lap traffic soon. Has half a second up on Allgaier. And then about a second behind Allgaier is Nolan Siegel. Zilich still trying to cut his way forward. But you see Armstrong here, and you can see the cars up ahead. Stingray Rob in 25th, it would be the first car he comes up to. Magenta Trees having a rough day, running in 24th and 25th. As Allgaier's now only 2 tenths back. So he could be close enough to make a move soon, as Armstrong, his wheels slid a little bit on exit. And that's going to allow Allgaier to get to the outside. Is he going to be able to get by? Armstrong, big slide again. He's really struggling now. And that's going to allow Allgaier to get by into the lead. Armstrong can't make a mistake here and cost himself points. But he is really sliding. Just got to calm down just a little bit. Nolan Siegel's coming up behind him. Might be looking for a move soon. Nolan Siegel came in tied on points with Armstrong. Whoa, hold on to it. That is a big slide. And this is going to allow Siegel to go around the outside, and he's going to get through. But if Armstrong's sliding like this after 40 laps, imagine the guys that are trying to go 80. Armstrong may just be trying to get to lap 50-something to be safe. But Arvid Tire's going to allow that to happen because he is barely hanging on every turn. Siegel about 8 tenths back on Allgaier. But Allgaier's going to hit lap traffic here. Stingray Rob and DeFrancesco are the first two. You can really now start to see who's good at saving the tires and who isn't. Silly Men Racing, it's been a bit of a struggle for them. Armstrong not as bad as Chet Jordan, as Chet Jordan has really fallen back. Foster closing in on Armstrong, and Siegel is about 8 tenths back on Allgaier. Allgaier going to try and go to the inside. Big move on Stingray Rob, and he's going to get it done. As he's cutting his way forward, Louis Foster on the outside of Armstrong. Going to have much more speed exiting the turn, and he's going to get by and move up into the podium place of third. Up 4 spots since the start. Armstrong with another big slide. He is hanging on to it every single lap. As Allgaier really in the meat now. You can see Siegel just behind him in the gold and black car as he has to pick to go through the middle. Tenzin on the inside and Glubler on the outside. Allgaier big move to the inside of the 00 as Siegel big slide. Man, they are dirt tracking it around here at this point. If you're Armstrong, you hope that a yellow comes out soon. So you don't lose any time pitting under green. With how these guys are racing, it could be very soon that a yellow comes out. Allgaier going to go to the outside of a 53. That looked pretty close. Siegel's going to have just enough of a run to come with. So we do have a battle for the lead. 3 tenths is the gap. Armstrong back there under threat from the 43 of Dorian Pin. As Allgaier follows behind Lawless Allen now. They've lapped up to about 20th. There's another car right there. Meanwhile, Armstrong way high in the turn. He's trying to fend off Dorian Pin, but Pin is going to be just a little bit quicker. And nearly going to force Armstrong into the marbles. A little bit of dirty racing from the 43. But no contact, so it's pretty clean. Pin looking at her best result in quite some time as Stingray Rob really high in the turn. And Armstrong nearly slides again, and that's going to allow Connor Zilich to get by. Chad Jordan has fallen back to about Guy Gagne and Alessio Deletta as they now battle. And we have a yellow flag, and it's Marcus Armstrong. He could not make it just a little bit longer. And he's going to go for a big slide. No contact with the wall. So, doesn't seem too bad. May actually benefit him if he's able to get back going, which he was not able to. And he had to take a tow, so he is going to end up a couple laps down, unfortunately. So a day where he really could have made up some points going to go out the window there. Frustration continues for the 33. That time was more on driver error. A little bit of team error. Well, I could see why they stayed out. But I wouldn't be surprised if everyone comes in now. As we sit at about halfway in this race. Lawless Allen gonna get the lucky dog. As Allgaier are gonna stay out, but Siegel will come in. Zilich comes in, Jordan comes in. All of Swindlers of the Immortals are gonna stay out. It's very, very split. And that's gonna be quite interesting. As Siegel will exit the pits. Pretty slow pit stop, 10-second pit stop. But he's going to be the first of those that have pit. So it's 3 teammates at the front, all of which decided to stay out. Which is a bold choice. How much sliding is going on. So gonna have to watch up here and back with Siegel. Marcus Armstrong has exited the pits. Not quite sure how many laps behind he is. I believe he is about 3. So 3 laps down for the 33 car. It's going to be pretty tough to overcome. As half a race still left to go. All 3 Swindlers cars did not come into the pits. We're going to have to see how they do. As the green flag is back out, Justin Allgaier leads us back to green. Allgaier, Foster, Pin, Deletta, Priest, your top 5. Siegel is the first car who pit. He's going to go around the 53 here to try to build a buffer. As Hubbard on the outside, 3 wide. As the 00 gonna enter pit lane for whatever reason. There's always one guy each yellow. And I don't quite know why. As Allgaier gonna get around Glubler here. Foster gonna go through. As Nolan Siegel still the best of those that have pit. It's now Zilich in second still. And then Jordan. Siegel now battling Benjamin Pearson up here. Around the teammates of Banshees of Little Miami. Still trying to fight on the inside. As that's another slide there as Ryan Priest going to go around the outside of Francesco Draconi and get 4th. He's on a charge. These guys have now been on their tires for about 30 laps. That's about how long Armstrong was on his. Deletta gonna try and go to the outside again on Priest. He's gonna have to get around the 00 here. Good dive to the inside. It's pretty tight. Allgaier up to a second lead on teammate Louis Foster, who could be making up big points today. Priest to the inside of the 00 still has not been able to pass this guy, and they've been backed up a lot. Nolan Siegel still trying to cut his way forward. Nolan Siegel could be in for a big day if he can make up some good points. Two by two. Exiting the turn, Deletta's going to be the first one to get around the 00. It's quite easy to go around the outside, and it's hard when they plant themselves on the outside. As Siegel's going to lose a little bit of time there. As Peterson going to go around his teammate, Francesco Draconi, for 6th. Now Siegel going to go by for 7th. As 3 wide back here, Chet Jordan way high. He got by Connor Zilich, which could be for 2nd. We're at lap 63 of 100. We're coming up on the 2/3 mark. Siegel with a bit of a huge slide, actually, in the middle of the turn. That's not what you want when you just came in for a pit stop. Chet Jordan up to what could be 2nd, but he has not been very good at saving his tires. Allgaier leads by 1.7 seconds over his 2 teammates, and then it's a lot further back to Alessio Deletta in 4th, followed by Ryan Priest, and then you got Peterson, Siegel, and Zilich to the inside of Draconi, and he's going to get 8th. Chet Jordan lost a couple spots there in the swarm. Robbie, I thought he was 2 laps down. Apparently he only lost 1 lap. He's hoping for another yellow because then he would get the lucky dog and get back onto the lead lap. Currently in 20th. That won't happen if the 14 can catch up to the back of the field once again. I haven't seen a lot of big slides from the Swindlers cars. They've been looking considerably smoother than the Viking racing cars and the Silly Men racing cars, as Siegel could be under attack from Connor Zilich for battle on what could be the lead. Zilich looks high. He's going to get a little bit of a tug from the 29 there, but he's going to try and cross over to the inside. Battling with a teammate right here. Got to be careful. Zilich has a big run right there. Siegel going to be able to cover some of it, as Zilich way high in the marbles. Saw the back end get a little out of control there. As the 14 of Justin Allgaier is nearly caught up to the back of lap traffic. Siegel to the inside of Peterson in turns 3 and 4. Going to have the better run off the turn, and he's going to be clear, and the number 9 of Zilich is going to try and come through as well, as they're both going to be clear, and they're now in 6th and 7th. Dorian Pin kind of closing in on Louis Foster a bit, as Foster's now over 3 seconds behind Allgaier with 30 laps to go. Deletta still ahead of Priest, who's now getting passed by Siegel around the outside. Siegel and Zilich continue to cut forward with about 30 laps to go. Guy Gagné and Chet Jordan now battle for 10th. Which could be interesting. Viking Racing right now could be in an interesting position. However, they need to hope that the guys up front need to pit because their tires are killed. These guys are sliding all over the place, dirt tracking. And Justin Allgaier's now lapping some cars. Right now, Lawless Allen would be the lucky dog. And now it would be still Lawless Allen. That was Tenzin, I believe, going 2 laps down. That's Stingray Rob also going 2 laps down. But Foster could be under threat from, as here are the teammates battling, Siegel and Zilich. Zilich on the inside, and he is going to clear his teammate Nolan Siegel with 26 laps to go. I have seen Siegel be a little bit more out of control in the turns, as up here Pin and Foster battle for second, and Foster has a huge slide on the inside. He's got to make it 25 more laps with what he's got. Let's take a look at your stint lengths. Everyone only went 22 before. They're now going over 60, or getting close to 60, while the guys in the middle only did about 30. They've nearly caught up to that number. So these guys can definitely make it to the end on fuel and tires, but can the top 3? If it comes down to those who pit, right now we have an all-Viking podium with Zilich in first, Siegel in second, and then Gagné would be third, as he's now going to go around the outside of Ryan Preece for on-track 8th position. As Allgaier now lapping Devlin DiFrancesco again. That's 2 cars a lap down. Well, that car is 2 laps down, I should say. 5-second lead over Dorian Pin. He's now got a 1.5-second lead on Foster, who's really struggling on tires. That car may go out any lap now. It's basically just seeing who can hang on at this point. Chet Jordan still struggling behind. Francesco Draconi now running in 10th. So he's going to dive to the inside. Big slide. Nearly hits him twice in that turn. That 24 struggles with tire saving, and it's showing its head again. Now lapping 17th of Lindsey Brewer. Right now, Allgaier very much in control, but it won't take much to be out of control. Dorian Pin's been keeping the gap. Foster has been dropping back rapidly. You take a look at last lap and the leader lap, and he's like over half a second slower. Chet Jordan did get by Draconi there for 10th, so into the top 10. Gagné chasing down Peterson here. And he is going to go around the outside and take 7th place. Not clear yet. Peterson's going to fight back. Can Gagné hold it? Yes, he can. But up here, Zilich has closed in on Louis Foster. This is for 3rd with 18 laps to go. To the inside goes the number 9. Foster going to try and cross over and go to the inside. As that's another huge slide from the number 10. As he is going to come into the pits, he could not make it to the finish. And what does that say about 14 and the 43? They have 17 to go. As the doors may have just been blown wide open. Right now, Viking Racing smiling at what they're seeing. Allgaier has 16 laps to make it to the finish. We haven't seen any big moments from him, and he's still been holding on to the lead pretty solidly. Zilich and Siegel have been making up time, but they're over 10 seconds back. Let's compare last lap times. Zilich is about 2/10 quicker a lap, which would not be enough to get it done. Not by a long shot. So he's going to need to hope that the 14 cannot hold on anymore. A yellow would also work out well for him. Chet Jordan still climbing forward. He could be in 4th position as he has moved up to 7th on track. I believe next of those that have pit would be Carlos Huertas in 12th, so he's looking at a 5th. Brendan Hubbard 6th, so Viking Racing could get all 4 cars in the top 10, possibly the top 5. But they're still relying heavily on Allgaier and Pin coming in. And if Chet Jordan can get the number 90 here, that would put Jordan onto what could be the podium, but with 12 laps left, we're not too sure what is settled yet. Jordan to the inside of Gagne. This is for 6th, could be for 3rd if everything plays out like how they want it to. Gagne gonna hold on. Allgaier gonna be coming to 10 laps to go, has a 6-second lead. He's lapped up to 13th with Francesco Draconi being the next car. I think 49 is struggling a good bit here. Chet Jordan around the outside of Guy Gagne, and he's going to get that position, so he's up into 6th. 9 laps to go. Allgaier still in control. Pin in 2nd, 6.5 seconds back. Can they make it to the end? Zilich is closing in for 2nd, but again, it'd be a long shot to get the win. There's still a few lap cars in his way. Actually, I believe only 1, but could be 2 in just a moment. Allgaier now really in the thick of traffic here. He's got 7 laps to bring it to the end. Can he do it? Still side by side with Draconi. Chet Jordan has picked off another position as he went to the inside of Alessio Deletta. He's up to 5th. Zilich still gaining time on Dorian Pin. Allgaier coming to 5 laps to go. I think on fuel he can make it, but can he make it on tires? Right now it's looking like yes. Still gonna need to grit his teeth and hope. 4 to go this time. Zilich is only about 1 second back from Dorian Pin now. To the inside of the 99 here. So is now lapped up to 11th, nearly the top 10. 3 laps ago, and he is looking smooth and calm. Gagne passes for 6th, going around Alessio Deletta. Allgaier to the inside of Hubbard, got a little dicey there. Hubbard tried his best to hold him up to help his teammate, but doesn't look like it's going to be enough. 2 laps to go. Justin Allgaier, 1 win this season back at Spa. Looking for Swindlers of the Immortals to be 10 for 13, as he will be coming to the white flag this time. White flag. Here comes the 14 as the 24 of Chet Jordan is slow around the outside. He has damage with Stingray Rob. Justin Allgaier going to go through as the 24 and 77 have come together to the checkered flag. And it is Justin Allgaier who is going to win at New Hampshire. Dorian Pin gonna hold off Zilich for second. Zilich another lap and he could have gotten it, as Chet Jordan gonna come home in 19th, I believe, unofficially. As what happened to him? So he's trying to go by the 77 here and just big contact there. I don't even know what happened, but Stingray is a good while back. 24, it looks like 77 just kind of crowds him on entry. Yes, it was a little bit of a big bomb, but that is now the second time that Stingray's been in one of those incidents. And I don't think he's the innocent one that time. But checkered flag is out. Here are your final results. Justin Allgaier going to get the win. Just looked like the strongest car today. And he will bring it home. Dorian Pin going to be back on the podium in second place. She really needed that result. And then Connor Zilich didn't quite work out for him. He's going to come home in third. Nolan Siegel will take fourth place. Guy Gagne fifth. Alessio Deletta sixth. Seventh will be Benjamin Peterson. Eighth, Ryan Preece. Ninth, David Malukas. And then rounding out your top 10 will be Carlos Huertas. As you go through the rest of the field, Brendan Hubbard in 11th. 12th will be Francesco Draconi. 13th will be Ethan Martz. 14th, Mahavir Raghunathan. 15th will be Lindsey Brewer. 16th, Louis Foster. Could not make it to the end on the tires. 17th, Miles Rowe. 18th, Lawless Allen. Heartbreak for Chet Jordan as he will come home in 19th instead of 5th. 20th will be Robbie Lohr. 21st, Devlin DeFrancesco. 22nd, Tinkle McStinkle. 23rd, Dawa Tenzin. 24th, Glubler Lohr. 25th, Marcus Armstrong doesn't work out for him. 26th will be Stingray. And then a big DNF for Shane Van Gisbergen that may have major championship implications, as that is it for the New Hampshire 100. Up next, qualifying on Friday, will be at Pocono for your second race of the Triple Crown. We have 200 miles, no, 250 miles. I don't even know the lengths of my own events. But qualifying will be on Friday, race will be on Saturday, and it's going to be an exciting one. A lot still left to be determined in this championship as shown today.